Alex deleted every app on his phone on a Sunday night. Social media, messaging apps, news, games, even the weather app. Because he figured if he was doing this, he was doing it all the way. He kept his phone for calls and for a notes app, where he planned to write one line a day about how it was going. He had no idea that first line would take him 4 attempts to write, because he kept picking the phone back up out of habit before he had even finished a sentence. Day 1, the note just says, "Fine so far." Weirdly fine. He wasn't fine. He just didn't know it yet. By day 2, he noticed something he hadn't expected. His hand kept moving towards his pocket on its own, dozens of times a day. Waiting for coffee, standing in an elevator, sitting at a red light, his hand would go to his phone, unblock it, and land on a blank screen with nothing to open. He started calling it the phantom reach. It didn't feel like a habit, it felt like a reflex, the kind you don't choose, like flinching. Day 3, his note reads, "Bored in a way I don't remember being bored. Not relaxed bored, itchy bored." That was the part nobody warned him about. He had expected calm. What he got instead was closer to withdrawal. He was irritable with his co-workers over nothing. He reread the same paragraph of a book 5 times without absorbing a word of it. He caught himself standing in his kitchen for almost a full minute, just standing there because there was nothing pulling his attention anywhere else. And he didn't know what to do with a mind that had nowhere to go. By day 5, he almost quit. He sat with his thumb over the App Store, ready to re-download everything, ready to call the whole thing a stupid experiment that wasn't worth the discomfort. He didn't, mostly because he had already told a few people he was doing this, and he didn't want to explain giving up on day 5. Day 7. His note is longer than usual. Something shifted today. Walking to the store without a podcast. Notice the guy who runs the shop has a new haircut. Notice the smell of rain before it actually started raining. Small things. Felt strange to notice them. That was the first week. Rough, almost every day. And then, without warning, a crack of something else under the discomfort. The second week was quieter, but not in the way he expected. It wasn't peaceful. It was slow. Painfully slow. Days felt longer in a way that was almost uncomfortable at first. Like time had thickened. He started journaling more, not because he loved writing, but because it was something to do with his hand and his attention that wasn't a screen. He reread 3 actual books that month, more than he had read in the previous 2 years combined. By day 14, the boredom had changed shape. It wasn't itchy anymore. It was almost spacious. He wrote, "I keep waiting to feel like something's missing. I don't. I think I forgot what quiet actually feels like." Day 20. He noticed his sleep had changed. He was falling asleep faster, waking up before his alarm most mornings, without the groggy, dragged through mud feeling he had had for years. He hadn't changed anything else. Same job, same stress, same bed. The only variable was the 20 extra minutes he used to spend scrolling in the dark before he fell asleep, and now replaced with nothing at all, just lying there until sleep actually came. By day 25, something happened that genuinely surprised him. He sat down to work on a project that used to take him constant breaks to get through. The kind of task where he would check his phone every 4 or 5 minutes without even deciding to. This time, he looked up 2 hours later. 2 hours, uninterrupted, without once reaching for anything. He said it felt like finding a muscle he didn't know he had lost. On day 30, his final note was short. Not going back to how it was, adding a few things back on purpose this time, not out of habit. He didn't stay off everything forever. That was never really the plan. But he went back deliberately, one app at a time, watching closely for which ones actually added something to his life, and which ones he had only ever opened because his hand knew the motion better than his mind knew the reason. Here's what was actually happening to him during those 30 days, and it has almost nothing to do with willpower. Every time you get a like, a message, a notification, a headline that pulls you in, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine. Not because the thing itself was so rewarding, but because it was unpredictable. You didn't know exactly when or how much you would get, and that unpredictability is what makes the pull so strong. It's the same mechanism behind slot machines. A fixed reward, given every time, loses its pull fast. A reward that might come and might not, and might be bigger than expected, keeps you reaching longer after the actual reward stopped mattering. Apps are built around this on purpose. Every scroll is a pull on the same kind of lever. And your brain, which evolved to seek out unpredictable rewards because they used to mean food or safety, doesn't know the difference between a slot machine and a phone. When Alex deleted everything, he didn't just remove some apps, he removed the lever. And a brain that has spent years pulling that lever dozens or hundreds of times a day doesn't just calmly stop. It searches for the lever anyway. That's the phantom reach. That's the itchy, restless boredom of the first week. It isn't weakness. It's a dopamine system recalibrating after running on a constant, unpredictable drip for years. There's a second piece to what happened to him, and it explains why the boredom eventually turned into something close to clarity. It's called attention restoration theory. The idea was developed by researchers studying mental fatigue is that your ability to concentrate is a limited resource. Every time you direct your focus at something, a task, a screen, a conversation, you're spending from that resource. Most environments today never let it refill because there's always another input demanding your attention the second the last one ends. Certain kinds of low stimulation environments do something different. They don't demand focus, they allow attention to work involuntarily instead, softly drawn instead of forced. The way your eyes drift over clouds or trees without effort. That's what actually restores the resource. Alex wasn't just removing a distraction when he deleted his app. He was, without knowing the term for it, giving his attention system its first real chance to refill in years. This connects to something else happening underneath, in a part of the brain called the default mode network. The same system responsible for the wandering, unfocused thinking that shows up when you're not doing anything in particular. For years, Alex's default mode network barely got airtime because every idle moment was immediately filled with the screen. When the screens disappeared, that network didn't just switch back on gently, it surged loudly, which is part of why the first week felt so uncomfortable. But over the following weeks, as it got repeated, unforced access to quiet, it settled into something closer to its natural rhythm. That settling is very likely what showed up as better sleep, longer focus, and the strange, spacious feeling of boredom that stopped feeling itchy and started feeling like room to think. None of this means apps are evil or that deleting them is the only way to feel better. What it means is that the discomfort Alex felt in week 1 wasn't a sign he was doing something wrong. It was the most reliable evidence that something in his brain had adapted to constant stimulation and was now, for the first time in a long time, being asked to function without it. 30 days later, Alex wasn't a different person. He still had the same job, the same stress, the same phone in his pocket. What had changed was smaller and harder to see from the outside. He noticed things again. He finished thoughts without a notification cutting them off halfway through. He could sit in a waiting room without needing anything in his hand. If the idea of a week without your phone sounds unbearable, that reaction is worth paying attention to. Not because it means something is wrong with you, but because it's usually the clearest sign of exactly how much pulling that lever has been doing on autopilot. You don't have to delete everything for 30 days to test this. Even a single evening without reaching for anything will show you how loud the reach actually is. Next week, I'm telling the story of a man who spent 6 years planning to leave a job he hated and never did, and the specific psychological trap that kept him stuck long after he knew he wanted out. Subscribe if you want the science behind the things that feel obvious but never get explained.